weekend. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We look out for each other, business and life. That's right, that's right. This
Good afternoon, evening, morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Shop Conversation Show. I am James Brown, your voiceover with soul from jamesbrownvoice.com, bringing you live for the best business chat show ever, anywhere, obviously. Featuring people from all over the world to give you lots of exciting business insights on how you can improve your business. Because some of us have been there and done it and got it wrong, and some of us have got it right. And that's what we can all learn from, which is going to be the subject of this fun hour, is how we can make a business plan to propel your business forward in the best way possible. As always, I am here with Madame Sondra Ray, my co-host.
Hey, slightly under the weather today, but we are going to make this work. So super excited to talk about business planning. A accountability coach. I'm all about the plan. So I love this topic. Awesome.
Thank you, Sondra, for braving tonight. Yeah, we'll try and make sure you don't have to do too much talking. And thanks very much, guys, for being with us here live. And for anyone watching on YouTube, it is always a pleasure to have you here. And please give us any input that you have, any questions that you would like, or if you want to drop some questions for anyone here or have something you'd like to ask, let us know. So, business planning. Every business needs it. It's vital. How do you do it? What are the best ways to put something together that really works and doesn't leave you floundering in the muck any more than you need to be, at least? So, lots and lots of different theories on how one puts these together. In all honesty, I think this is a topic, again, that you could run with. But if anybody has some particular insights that they would like to, on how perhaps they got started, or how they made their first business plan, or do they have anyone who has particular insights or useful knowledge of how one can create a successful business plan, please pipe up, because that's what we need to hear. Letitia and Mr. Lee, always good to hear from you both. Letitia, you were first, I think. So I can bring you in. I'd love to hear
Was I first?
You were. You definitely came in the hand shot up first.
All right. I think I just want to take it a bit back before we get into the how, is to enlighten the entrepreneurs out there why you have to create it. Why do you have to have a business plan? Is it vital for you to have a business plan? So we need to maybe just talk about that a little bit, and then we can go into the how to do it. And then I think something that we need to follow up the how with is, when do you do it? Because I know a lot of people that jump into the lake before they learn how to swim. So we need to know when do we do it. So I'm not going to give input into the how and when. I'm just going to say, look, a business plan is vital. It's important in your business. You cannot start a business without planning it, because then you're gonna be driving a bus to nowhere. It's gonna be a bus full of people, which is ideas, full of petrol, which is probably your budget, but it's not going to be going anywhere. So you have to have a business plan. I'll leave it there for now. This is Leseja from Litmok, your business development agent.
I love that. I love that. Yes, take it back. We took too many steps forward there. Thank you for that reminder. Mr. Levy, I am sure you have, as a business coach, you have a lot of info on how we can get it started, why to have one, all those things.
Yeah, thanks, Sondra. I think, I'll just share my own views on it. But the one thing I think that Leseja said, which was kind of maybe encapsulated everything, was if you jump into the lake without swimming, you're definitely going to drown. So it's pretty much, I think everybody, just coming off what you said, we should have a business plan. Actually, we must have a business plan, but not everybody does. So often in entrepreneurship, and I did this, jumped in without the business plan because the idea got the better of me, or got me excited and energized. Anyway, it didn't work. The next one I went into with a business plan. Took me 3 months to put it together before I started the business. That was learnings from the first one, jumping in without one. And yeah, I'm happy to say that it was successful. So I think developing a business plan is essential for the success and sustainability of the business. And I think we must understand that a business plan is not cast in stone, but I think it rather serves as a roadmap for your business. And it must, again, include your vision. Coming back to what the researcher said, you've got to know where you're going, because if you don't know how you're going to get there. So it ensures that you do have a clear understanding of where you're going. It must also outline your strategies and tactics, because that will enhance your ability, especially in today's world, to navigate change. And we're experiencing that so much and more intensely than ever before. It guides your decision-making processes. It helps in allocating also resource. That can be in the form of people, technology, but it kind of, when you reference to it's not to say that the money that you invest in that resource is going to guarantee you success, but it will certainly create the highest probability of achieving it, and it will stop you wasting money. And honestly, I experienced that. So the other point I wanted to make is, through experience, it must, and I'm not an accountant, not by a long shot. In fact, I didn't do too well at it at school, but I learned through business. And I had that spreadsheet. I knew exactly where my business was every day. And that's what really took most of the time of the 3 months, was that the financial projections, budgets, and cash flow forecasts, which I think we often shy away from because they are arbitrary figures. Some of them are, in my case, when I started my business, was pretty much more thumbsuck than anything else. But I needed to have something to make reference to. And 17 years in my business, which I'm happy to say was a successful one. And proud to that I did it well. The accountants or financial people might disagree with me, but I did it with 17 years, no overdraft, no lending money from anybody. So it helped me avoid cash flow problems and ensured a sustainable profitability. So the business kind of funded itself? Were there periods where I had to fund it? Of course, but I funded it. because I was sure of my figures and I knew where we were. So it stopped any lending. So it gave me that confidence to fund it. So I referred to that business plan regularly. And I think it's really important. The other thing I wanted to say while we're talking about the funding, and especially we've got our participants that were on that Mancosa program, and then coming off it, it can also help you, if you've got a good business plan, it can help you secure funding. Because when your investors are looking at it, and Mikey and Hendrik and Malusi will know that, is when they pitch their businesses, a lot of it is that investors, there are a lot of people willing to invest, but they're not Santa Claus. They want a return on their investment. And if you've done your numbers, okay, and they make sense, okay, the chance of them investing are also a lot higher. It's not only about the numbers, but the chances of investment are a lot higher. And then importantly, I want to finish off by saying it's no use doing all this work on your business plan and then putting it in the drawer. It should be revised regularly. Make reference to it regularly. Assess your business, see where you are. Because it serves as a benchmark to track your progress, to make any adaptations, as I said earlier, in your business plan. Because it's not going to go the way that you saw it right in the beginning, but it'll help you, if you reference, it'll help you make intentional changes to get to where you want to go as your business evolves, which hopefully it will, and as market conditions change, which they most certainly will. And yeah, it helps you just kind of remain competitive in a highly competitive market. So that's probably the input. That there's a lot more to it, as Lisette just said. There's the how and so on, but I'm sure we don't have time for that. And there's other people that want to speak. So that's Stephen from, I remember this, Pete, Dare to Be Coaching and Beyond.
Right, well, Steve's answered everything. There we go. We'll just all go and have a cup of tea now, shall we? Yeah, no. That was about as exceptionally comprehensive answer there, Steve. Thank you very much. And yeah, lots and lots of nuggets to take away from that one. Pick the bones out of that. I should be going back over that answer. I think what strikes me very quickly is definitely the numbers, and because one of the things I think that quite a few people are a bit afraid of their numbers when they see where their business is and how much they might be earning compared to their outgoings and what you might need to earn, and focusing your projections on how many customers you need to do to get to where you have to be in order to survive and thrive. But yeah, vital, really vital, and getting over that fear is and being very clear about your accounts is very important. Liz, please chime in.
Yeah, no, this is always a very interesting topic and stuff, and it actually takes me a little bit back as well, because I always find like there's a difference between having a business plan and planning for your business, because a business plan can be very formal. So if you are applying for a loan, if you are applying for funding, that's a very different type of plan that you're putting together. That's very structured. There's specific things that need to be in it. But not all businesses need a formal business plan to that degree, but you do need a plan for your business. And going through that process and actually answering the questions, which is sometimes very confronting, because they'll be like, oh, you have to be very clear about who your audience is, who your financial plans are, your scenario planning, the cash flow forecast, where it's like, you don't know what's happening in the next 6 months. Now you need to do a 3-year projection. And it's like, that's intimidating, but it gets you thinking a little bit further along instead of just focusing on like, okay, cool, well, this is what I need to do right now. So it's a really healthy exercise to do. But I also remember, like, one of the businesses I worked for previously, I worked as a business operations manager, put together, had to do a business plan, a formal business plan, which was essentially the size of a thesis by the end of it, because of all the things that they needed and wanted to have. And the amount of hours that went into that was extensive. And saw the business manager at the bank like a month later. He's like, oh, yeah, no, haven't even gotten around to reading that. So there's also like the effort that you put into it. It has to be concise enough. It has to be specific for the audience and specifically speaking to what they are looking for. But if you're not in a formal space, like doing that planning and forecasting and getting comfortable with your own numbers is really important in a business. And so many people and entrepreneurs that I've come across and talked to, as soon as they get to the finances of it, it's like, I'm not good at numbers. And it's like, no, I'm terrible at numbers. Even if you are, there are still ways and there's tools out there that you can use, that you can lean on, or speak to your accountant and do like little sessions where you can at least just have a basic template to be like, oh, okay, cool. I just need to plug this, this, and this in. Okay, now I understand what the story is, what the narrative is, because the numbers in your business, whether or not it's projections or if it's actual, tells such a story of your business. And that's always such a, like, it's actually an interesting story. Like, yeah, from a business operations and accounting background as well. So it does tell an interesting story, but it allows you to see the triggers early on where you're like, I feel this, or I sense this in the market, or I don't know exactly. It allows you to kind of have data to base your decisions on instead of how you feel. Because as an entrepreneur, like the journey is an up and down roller coaster, and how you feel the one day, because like, oh, great, I got a new client, versus how you feel in 2 weeks' time when you might have lost one. Like you can't necessarily always base your decisions on how you feel. So having some data to back that and back those gut instincts that you might have is really great to kind of just be like, okay, cool, I am in the right direction. And having a plan for your business, that's the kind of that compass, that navigational tool for yourself to make sure that it's like, oh, you're not just being pulled in multiple directions, because there's so many things as you go through that journey, and like through my own journey as well. The evolution in those first year or two is a lot. Like from where I started the day before I like launched my business to where I am now, there's been a lot of evolution. And being able to be free enough with it, but still knowing you're heading in the right direction, regardless of like how you tweet it, that allows you to kind of like know, okay, cool, I'm still on the right track, instead of getting distracted because this is the new thing or this is the new opportunity. So it allows you to kind of like say no to the right things as well. So yeah, so that's just the difference between like business plans versus a plan for your business as well.
I love that, Liz. I love that. Two things that stood out. Knowing your numbers. This was something that, yeah, I shied away from for a really long time, and then got a bookkeeper. And so now it's part of my quarterly review, which I do teach on that. But yeah, quarterly review is reviewing your numbers, reviewing the plan. You're doing something in your business, right, wrong, or indifferent, you're doing something. So if you don't review it and see what you're doing and compare it to something that you're spinning your wheels or burnout or all those things that entrepreneurs feel. I want to give a shout out to Susan. She's very, very active in the chat on YouTube, and everybody else that is over there. She's dropping nuggets after nuggets. And okay, I'm gonna try this a different way. Mr. Mocha, did I get it right?
You tried. Close. Very, very close though. And just like Mr. Levy, that doesn't like to be called Mr. Levy, and I just do it anyway. You could just call me Lisecha. How's that? And that's just for you, Sondra. Call me Lisecha. Anyway, I think something interesting that both Mr. Levy and Liz spoke about is your plan should not be static. I think Mr. Levy mentioned something like it should be able to navigate change. You cannot just have a business plan cast in stone and put it there. So Liz, you also mentioned something like that it cannot just be something formal that goes into the drawer and you forget about it, because then your business plan will never be a plan for your business. So and I'm going to look back at how many businesses went under during COVID? A lot of them. And most of them did have business plans. But then when the change came, the businesses could not adopt, or they failed to navigate change. So as Mr. Levy has pointed out, a business plan is not cast in stone. It is important to drop a business plan that is pliable. So it needs to be able to move with the times. Otherwise, we saw an example of what happened during COVID, where businesses just went under because they didn't think forward about what are we going to do, where am I going, and if this happens, what's going to happen. And I know none of us ever thought there'd be anything like that. But yeah, I think you need to think about all the possibilities that can happen in your business so that your business can keep running, can sustain itself. And congratulations, Mr. Levy, on, did you say 17 years running your business? That's pretty awesome, on your own for that matter. Cheerio.
Well, not on my own, as such. I had a team of wonderful people with me, but without the bank.
Without the bank, that's important. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, keep the bankers away as much as you can. I think it's probably a fairly good idea. Thank you very much, Letitia. Great to hear some more from you. And oh, look who's arrived. Peter, who is not Somerville, but saying that he is. So he may be being schizophrenic this evening, but that's okay. That's totally fine. He has the long blonde hair sort of thing going on. So yeah, that's all good. Totally fine.
Yeah,
Peter.
I can't help it. I'm a Somerville fan. I had to arrive with Somerville's name. It's one of those things.
I totally get it.
I don't know if you guys, yes, we have information, and yes, we need to create plans and business plans, but what does it mean to the man on the street? What does it mean to your average wannabe entrepreneur that's out there turning over rocks every single day, trying to make it happen? A lot of people don't understand the power behind a space like that, because it's generally not within their space. Creating business plans, the man on the street, but if you put it into like the layman's terms, what should it mean to the man on the street? I don't know if any of you have seen any of those old gangster movies where it's the guy with all the information that has all the power. He's the Don, or he's the Godfather, because he has all the information. That is literally what a business plan will do for your business. It gives you the information to have the authority to do the things that you need to do, because you can make decisions based on, does this work well within my plan? If it does not, you should know. And then just to reiterate, the business plan is not just a document. It's a living document. It's something that you adapt and change and tweak and twist and plot and plan. And the more you know what is going on in that space at any given moment, a perfect deal comes along and I have the authority to decide, because I know that it lines up and it works within my plan, I can make a decision. Whereas if I don't know my numbers, I don't know if it lines up with my plan, I don't know what the outcome is going to be, making those decisions becomes increasingly difficult. So having that understanding in the background, it just gives you that authority to step into a space and go, yes, this is my decision based on, yes, this is my plan, and yes, this does work. It also gives you the authority to say no. And a lot of people make the mistake of stepping into spaces that they actually have that they shouldn't actually be stepping into, because it just doesn't work. But they don't know that yet, because they don't have the information on hand. So to the average guy on the street that doesn't know their numbers, don't know that they should have a business plan, if you are that guy, which is me, then at least surround yourself with people that do know. Hence the fact that everybody is here. I've surrounded myself with people that know. I'm a lucky guy. It makes life a lot easier to take a step back and have people assist you, where you can go, well, I'm not too sure where I should go, what I should do. This is where I'm at. Should I know these numbers? How do I get to know these numbers? How do I put this plan in place? What should this plan look like? And that's the beauty of networking with incredible people. You can surround yourself with that kind of support. So yeah, that's me, over and out.
And who are you? You're not Somerville.
I'm not Somerville. I'm in disguise. Actually, if I put pigtails in, I could be someone. No, I'm kidding. I'm Peter, one of the co-founders of Export ProTech, and just, yeah, happy to be here.
Love it, love it, love it, Peter. Such good insight. And yes, I think having a tribe and having people around you that have been doing it, have done it, who can be real with you on the struggles and the pitfalls and the things like that. Because unfortunately, social media and stuff gets painted that it's a pretty picture to run a business and own a business. And that's really not the full story. So I do love communities where we can be honest and open and help each other out. Love that, love that. You know, we can get help from experts like Mr. Levy. Come on in.
Yeah, Sondra, I think I'll chat after Hendrik. He had his hand up and then he put it down, he had it up again. So
Oh yeah, okay.
let's hear from him.
Hendrik, jump in. Yes, we want to get some, we love all the new faces and new people. Welcome, Hendrik.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, Mr. Levy. I think for me, in a nutshell, a business plan is more like your measuring tool. Be it to measure the business success, be it to navigate or understand your competitors. Your business plan is the guide that gives you as to which decisions you need to make. Everyone was talking about numbers, and those numbers need to be realistic in your business plan. Your competitors need to be, hence also Mr. Levy, I think it was Mr. Levy who said, your business plan needs to change every now and then. A cell phone company a few years back, its competitor might have been Nokia. And then now, because Nokia is no longer there, the competitors change. So also that needs to change in your business plan as well, because if you keep being stuck in what the past used to look like, you'll be left behind. Just like I believe it was Mr. Leseja who said, when COVID came, companies that were ready to adopt or to change and adopt the new ways of doing business survived, while the businesses that were, maybe some of them, their business plans were cast on stone, they could not understand how to navigate or how to make the changes that would have helped them go through that period. So from me, yes, my understanding of a business plan is just your business plan needs to be your measuring tool. That's Hendrik from Teresano F Movers.
Thank you, Hendrik. And absolutely great to hear a new voice on the Coffee Shop Conversation show. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And back into Mr. Levy.
Thanks, James. I just wanted to touch on what Mikey asked a question in the chat about outsourcing someone to do your business plan. I think I would rather say get somebody to help you if you're not an accountant. That's why it took me 3 months to do mine. I was an accountant, I understood numbers. And then put in a simple, so yes, I had an accounting package and I had accountants because I had to have it in my business. And that was the one thing. The other thing is the accounting package for me didn't give me enough information about my business going forward. So I drew up a simple but effective spreadsheet. So Mikey, I think in answer to your question is get people to help you, but never outsource it in its entirety. Because what Peter said is the numbers must mean something to you. It doesn't matter what it means to Stephen or to Liz or to Hendrik or to Seth or so on. The numbers must be meaningful to you. And Hendrik said, make them realistic. Make them as realistic as possible. Because sometimes those numbers are said in going forward in my business, some of those numbers were arbitrary. But it gives you something to reference to measure against. And when Liz said the numbers tell a story, that's so profound because they do. And often we get in our own way because we didn't hit the numbers that are on our business plan. We need to understand those numbers tell a story, and we need to sit down and say, if I didn't hit those numbers, why? What is the story? Why didn't I hit those numbers? Those are the questions. Instead of getting into a flat spin, we need to be asking the questions, why didn't I hit those numbers, and what will I do to hit them, or what else do I do differently? And I think that's important. But don't outsource it, and don't put the numbers that you want investors to see or that you want the man on the street to see. Put the numbers that you need. You have to be brutally honest with yourself from when you do it to when you're going through your business. And it evolves. If I look at the numbers in my business that I had in the textile industry, 10, 12, 15, 17 years from when I started them, sure, they were different. But it was such a great help for me to get to the 5, 10, 15, 20, 17 years. Those original set of numbers. And excuse me, I shut myself when I did it. Because I kept questioning, is it right? Is it right? Is it right? Is it going to work? Until eventually it's okay, now just pull the trigger and go. You've got numbers, now go for it.
Thank you, Mr. Levy. I love that. And like you said, the numbers that matter to you. So Mikey, you just had a little one in your lap, you're going to bring the experts in, you're going to bring the expert doctor, but in the end, it's your child. Your business is your child. So it's going to be what matters to you. And I know I have focused on how many people I'm helping versus how much money I'm making. It's not a popular opinion. I'll tell you, honestly, I get a lot of pushback on that, but I really am passionate about helping people. Yes, there's money involved. Yes, there's expenses. Yes, I do have to look at those numbers, but really my passion is to help people. So what your why is and how you focus on that. So Susan was asking the same thing. What are some questions to ask to develop your business plan? And it really depends on why you're doing your business, what type of business. A tech company is definitely going to look at things differently than a coaching company. Social media company is going to look different than a radio station. So it really is specified to your business, your why. Yes, there's standard things, income, expenses, things like that, but there's definitely some specialized, in my opinion, some specialized questions. What do you think, Mr. Peter?
I definitely agree that, and I sort of go backwards to the numbers tell a story. I am not Indiana Jones. I am not stuck in a tomb, and I am not trying to translate hieroglyphics to escape sudden doom. And that's what the numbers are. The numbers do tell a story, but we don't necessarily need to be the ones that translate them. We need to have an understanding of them, but sometimes we need a translator. So when you're in that space where you're in this tomb of death and there's this stone that's going to crush you, and you need to translate the hieroglyphics, which will tell you how to escape. Well, the modern day translators they're called accountants. And they literally will translate those numbers. But here's the thing. It doesn't help that you have an accountant that translates the numbers, but then does not communicate that with you, because you're the one that needs to understand the numbers. So having an accountant is all well and good. Accountants, there are loads of accountants. You can find accountants everywhere. You can scratch the woodwork and they will come crawling out. They are everywhere. But do you have a relationship with your accountant that your accountant can do the translation and then translate it to you so that you have an understanding, instead of just translating the numbers and then going, oh no, everything's fine, the numbers work, because that doesn't mean anything to me. So an accountant should be viewed as a relationship that you have that is a part of your business. It's almost like they're a part of your team, and in order for them to be part of that team, their job is to translate the numbers and then give it to you in a format that you can understand, so that you actually have the information on hand. I know this very well because my co-founder is an accountant and has the ability to translate the numbers and tell me a story I can understand, because I'm highly dyslexic and I would read the numbers backwards. So I just get it in a different format. But having that relationship and not just going, oh, I have an accountant, it's sorted. That doesn't give you the information that you need. So understanding that you actually need to build that relationship. You do need an accountant by your side, unless you are an accountant. And strangely enough, Nastine is an accountant and we have an accountant, which is quite strange. But we have an accountant that we have a relationship with, and we can pick up the phone or we can send a message or jump on a Zoom and go, hey, the numbers, and the accountant will paint the picture and go, this is what the numbers mean, this is where you're at. And that gives me the authority to make decisions that I need to make. Do I buy into the software? No. Do I add people to this space? Yes, I can make that decision because I have access to that information, and it's delivered to me in a way that I can understand. So reach out to your local accountant, make friends, pat them on the back, pet them, feed them, do whatever you have to do to build those relationships, but they are vital to your business.
Seems so simple, don't you, when you think about it? Just having this relationship with the most vital thing. That are you solvent? Where are you going? Can you afford this? Can you not afford this? What should you be? And without that relationship with with your own figures and where they're going, no one can. You just can't succeed in business. It's the most fundamental thing. It's amazing how difficult it is to get a handle on it, especially, I suppose, perhaps if it's not the first thing that goes into your mind. And this is why it's just so vital to, as you say, Peter, to be able to have a relationship either with someone who knows about it properly or who can give you the insight to help you take those steps. Liz, we're going to do one quick follow up with you, and then I think we've got the FBiz show coming up.
Well, yeah, just to add to what Peter was saying as well, and having that relationship and having someone to translate it for you if that's really not where your speciality lies. But the onus as the business owner still lies with you to ask the right questions. You need to know what questions you want to know or get from your business, because data, it doesn't matter if it's your finances, if it's your social media numbers, it doesn't matter what data you're looking at. You have to know what question you want to ask. You need to know what data you need to go gather in order to answer those questions. So that part is really important from a business owner's perspective, regardless of who's translating the numbers or putting it together. So even if you have a massive company, you need to know what questions you need to ask in order to be able to make the right decisions and look at the right numbers and tell that story. So, yeah.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. Love that. Miss Somerville, who are we interviewing today? Take it away.
I wonder, who are we interviewing today? I wonder. Liz Pretorius, will you please stand up? Please stand up. Hey Liz, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
Good, welcome to the FBiz show, not ship. I am flying solo today, where Janine has got other plans. It's her birthday tomorrow. So
Happy birthday to her.
it's okay. We'll catch you on the flip side. Okay, so let us begin because our time is short. Can you share your entrepreneurial journey and what inspired you to start your own business?
Yeah, so my business is Leap. I started it October, it'll be a year. So I'm still in my first year of my business. And it's been a longer journey than that. So I've always been interested in business, goes all the way back to I did my BCom in management. I worked as a business operations manager for a number of years for a bunch of SMEs. And I got to a point a couple of years back where it's like it wasn't enough anymore. And I wanted to step out of just the operational role and be able to help more business owners and entrepreneurs kind of grow their businesses, but in that also themselves. So I started Leap, which is a coaching business where I focus on performance and balance, and how to kind of bring those aspects together for entrepreneurs and business leaders to help them move forward. Because sometimes you can have the best processes, you can have the best systems, but if you aren't growing, if you aren't kind of moving forward in that space as well, then it kind of means nothing as well. Like it doesn't mean as much. So you have to get out of your own way, and that's the part that I really like focusing on as well.
Brilliant. Another question for you.
Yeah.
How do you handle competition and adapt to change in the industry?
Well, especially in the coaching space, like when you start looking left, right, and center, like Peter was saying about the accountants, coaches are just as
everywhere.
But to be honest, I'll look at like what some other competitors do just to kind of get an idea, and especially in the beginning to kind of like see how to benchmark myself, learn from what they're doing in terms of their marketing and how they're positioning themselves. But other than that, I don't actually focus too heavily on competitor analysis at this stage. It's more about focusing on my own skills and bettering my own skills and the value that I'm bringing to my clients, and focusing on what I can do for them in the best possible way and getting that visibility out there. So instead of focusing on who's next to me, I'm kind of just focusing on my own journey and just making sure that I'm giving it my all and providing as much value as I possibly can to my clients. And that's been my strategy so far, and making sure it's like I can reach visibility, connect with the right people, and within the right networks and collaboration spaces to find the people that I resonate with and who resonates with me. So in terms of competition, if I actually have to start looking at like who all I'm competing with, I'll actually just sit in a little ball. So that's not where I shift my focus, because I can't control any of that. I focus on what I can control, and that's the value that I bring to within my business and what I do for my clients.
Awesome. On the point of networking collaboration, how has that affected your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, when I started, I did something probably a bit unorthodox. And when I started my business, I started cold. So I resigned. I had 0 clients lined up, built my website. I was like, okay, cool, I'm doing this. This was the decision. So I didn't. And like before that, working kind of behind the scenes as a business operations manager, networking wasn't part of my day-to-day at all. Like that was not something that I had ever actually done before. I had a very small network, but moving into that space, I'm like, okay, well, I need to go meet people. So I found different like networking groups, and I'm like, okay, cool, like meeting people who are on similar journeys and just kind of opening up and finding people who are in similar phases and stages of their businesses and building those networks. And it has honestly been the biggest thing or advantage in my business, and the amount of people and incredible people that I've met in the last year is actually a little bit mind-blowing. So it just kind of pushes the boundaries of what you think is possible, because other people look at you and be like, well, why don't you just do it this way? and it sort of pushes your own thinking quite significantly as well. And yeah, it's definitely been a key aspect of my business.
Amazing. Well, I can definitely relate. Also, when I first started my business, I didn't have networking on my cards either. Miss Dean can attest to that one. Would have seen me as a newbie trying to network. What's networking? What's
Exactly.
that? Say what?
And I have to say, it's very intimidating at first and stuff, because like you don't know what to expect. But as you kind of find the groups that work for you and the ones who don't, you kind of like, oh, okay, cool. It gets easier to, have your pitch and stuff. And I have to say that was actually one of the key things. I kept pushing myself in situations where I was uncomfortable, because it's like, okay, now someone's going to ask me about my business. I'm like, okay, well, I need to know what to say. And just that process in and of itself, it helps you refine your narrative. It helps you refine that like elevator pitch, so that by the end of it, like, oh, okay, cool. It becomes a lot easier as you go through that process. Like, even if it sucks in the beginning, like it'll be fine in a month or 2 or 3, the more you do it. So, yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, what aspiring words do you have for entrepreneurs starting their own businesses? We have a few on the panel.
I think the biggest thing is to not get stuck on the one idea. Don't get stuck on an idea. Have a vision for what you want to achieve, what problem you want to solve, but be flexible in how you do it. So you can kind of leave space for those new ideas that come in, the new collaboration potential that comes in, the opportunities, the people that you meet, because what you think you know in the beginning is going to change. It's going to keep changing. So having that vision, but leaving a lot of room for flexibility and adaptability as you kind of move forward. That would probably be one of the key things. And then the other component, and that's something I personally struggle with, I really love learning, and especially when you're starting out, there's so much to learn, to kind of find a way to prioritize what you want to focus on and what you want to learn on, so you can filter out and not just sign up for every single webinar and conference and summit, and be more specific and particular about what knowledge you want to bring into your business in terms of what you're missing and what you want to gain from other people. So being selective in that, because time is the one thing that is limited. Usually resources as well. So kind of finding that balance between like, okay, this is what I need to learn and this is what I need to go do now, because it's very easy when you're unsure to get stuck in that information gathering phase, which I've done multiple times, where it's like, okay, cool, but I'm good at learning, so I'm just going to keep absorbing information instead of actually putting yourself out there and going to do something. So balancing those two aspects as well.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, it was lovely having you on the show, and you have so much to give. I can't wait to hear more from you. But before you go,
yes,
on behalf of my co-founder, well, my co-host, co-founder, same difference. Why did Janine cross the road?
My first instinct is say to get to the other side, but
to get to her 40th birthday party.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Congratulations, Janine. Look forward to
congratulations.
And it's back to James and Sondra.
Thank you, Somerville, doing a sterling job there, solo, with Liz. And thank you very much, Liz, for your insights as well. All very, very interesting. We have a few minutes left, guys. 8 more minutes on the subject of business plans. If anybody feels that they haven't said something or something else they would like to add to the end of the conversation, let us know. Peter, straight in there. Good man.
I just one to the trigger wins, right? It's the same in a six gun shootout. What do they call it? Like a pop pistol shootout. Fastest trigger wins.
Absolutely.
Something that I want to just add is that, we've taken a long time to build the right relationships with the right people. Over the last 3 years, we've been building relationships and figuring out who fits, who doesn't fit, who fits within those values, who fits within this space. And if you're the person that is sitting at home and you're watching this and you're going, but I don't actually know how to create it. Now I know that I need to have a business plan, but I don't know how to have a business plan. Well, then we've made life really easy for you, because all those people are right here. So if you're at home and somebody has said something that just tickles your fancy, or something that you can just really relate to, or you've asked a question and they may have answered it, their links will be in the description. And we have a coffee first, business later mentality in this space. So it's quite easy to go into the description, select the person that you want to speak to, click on that link, reach out and go, hey, I saw you on the show. I'd really like to have a cup of coffee. It's really that simple. So let's not have all of our hard work be in vain. It's actually done for you. So the more we empower entrepreneurs, the stronger they become, the more they affect the economy, the better our lives become. So we've made ourselves available. Just reach out and have a conversation.
I love that, Peter. Yes, definitely took some of my announcements from them. That's fine. It's okay. Yes, make sure to check out the show notes that the amazing Susan puts in after the show, which has all our LinkedIn links to everybody that is on the show today. And yes, the tribe is coffee first, business later. And we do live that mantra. Definitely live that mantra. For sure, for sure. Liz SJ. I tried.
You did. No, you did, Sondra. Earlier, there was a mention about relationship with your accountant and all that. And I think, Peter, you summed it up so well now. Whatever relationship that you need, you'll find it here. Whether you need a relationship with a coach, with a lawyer, with an entrepreneur, with a voiceover artist, with a getting things done and daring to be, and everything is just in this space. So whatever you need, just reach out. This is a space that's been made safe for everyone. I mean, you don't have to be shy to say, this is what I'm thinking about and how can I get about it? It's as simple as that. So we've got all the support that's in this forum, that's in this group, that's in the tribe. And absolutely awesome tribe. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Nestine. Somerville. Thank you so much.
Right. And we have, last but not least, I think Mr. Levy is going to be our last one before we call it a night. Take it away, Sam.
Yeah, just something while Liz was chatting, and awesome story, Liz. And something that came up for me, we spoke a lot about the business plan, about the numbers, which of course are important. But I think when Liz was speaking about understand what, if people ask you what you do, actually understand your vision, but more importantly, understand your purpose in your business, so that you can speak to somebody and tell them in maybe 1 or 2 sentences what your business, what does your business stand for? And that's important. And if you really believe it, they'll feel it. And if they feel it, they'll ask you about the numbers. But if you start off with the numbers, they might not really go, okay, well, that's cool. And just the one other thing I wanted to add in terms of what Peter said with the numbers and the accountants and so on is, just be honest with yourself. I was in a coaching session with someone about the 5th session. They said to me, can I be honest with you? And I said, no. And they're like, I was like this. They said, why not? I said, because you must be honest with yourself. If you're honest with me or not, it's not going to affect my life. Be honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, then if you do have an accountant or a coach like Liz or somebody that they can be more effective in helping you if you're honest with yourself and not with them. So that's, yeah, I just want to, but your purpose of your business, don't forget that. Very important, maybe before you do the numbers.
All right, James, I think we are wrapping up. I learned about business plans. I mean, I've been in business, but I still am learning. What about you, James?
I always learn something on this show. It's that's the great thing about it. You see, there's always these different perspectives from all sorts of different walks of life, and that's what's great about it. It's still, after a couple of years, I know there's so many more steps I can be taking to make my own business more streamlined and get a better handle on it. And this is why it's always so interesting to hear what people are doing to do exactly that, really. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone who's contributed again today. Really, really useful. And I hope people take some nuggets away from it.
Awesome, awesome. Fully and 100% agree. We want to wish Miss Janine a very, very, very happy birthday, Janine.
Yep.
I will not sing. I can't sing. And my voice, yeah. So happy birthday, Janine. We definitely missed you tonight. And we hope you have an amazing day tomorrow celebrating your birthday. So Miss Nestine has been working her magic in the background, and she has officially started us on Spotify. So we are officially a channel on Spotify. So you can catch episodes over there for you to listen to while you're traveling and getting around and about. Put it on while you're, cleaning the house or whatever. That's what I usually do if it's Spotify on. So definitely check us out over there, listen. And you can also leave stars and rate us and all those things, because we definitely want to make sure that we get that up and going quickly. And of course, the live YouTube show, you can always share, subscribe, and like. We will be super grateful. And you can always make a appointment to have a coffee with all of us lovely, amazing people with the links that Miss Susan, thank you, Susan, for putting those in the show notes. As Miss Teen says, we hope your wildest entrepreneur dreams come true. We will see you all same time, same place next week. Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.